We are live, baby. You guys know what it is. The one and the only American Cholo podcast, broadcasting live directly from North Hollywood, California. My name is Gil, and I am the American Cholo. And today we got a banger for you. We got it was a movie that kind of brought us all together here at one place to speak about social injustices, about the crime, punishment, pretty much everything, growing up in dysfunctional families. And we are trying to, and not just trying to, we're making, something positive out of a negative. And I want to thank every single one of you for coming on. First, we'll start off from my left. Angel, how are you?
Hi, how you doing?
Talking to the mic. Don't be shy.
How you doing?
We got Angel. So you're the one that, so what would be your title in this whole?
I am executive producer, writer of the story.
And what story is that we're talking about?
Sam's Cry.
Sam's Cry. And now we'll go to my right. Spider, what's good, my man?
What's up, my brother?
Speaking to the mic, homeboy. Sin miedo.
Kibble.
How we doing, Spider?
Man, we're doing amazing. You know what I'm saying? I woke up this day and I said, damn, you know what? I finally get to meet the American Cholo.
That's right, homeboy. And then we got Jennifer. Jennifer, give us a little bio about yourself.
All right, my name is Jennifer Salai. I'm from San Jose, California. I am the CEO of New Beginnings Family Services, and I'm also the writer of My Adam and the documentary My Adam.
And what exactly is My Adam, if you would clarify?
So My Adam is a tell-all book about my son who was adopted when he was 1 year old. He was taken away from me. I was 15 years old. And it just talks about the injustices within our systems. And, people like to talk about a broken system. I don't believe that. I believe the system is a well-oiled machine that is meant to be broken the way that it is to suppress our people and suppress our kids.
Now, at 15 years old, when you said they took your son away from you, was it something that you gave up or?
No, Child Protective Services was involved with my family. I had to call the cops to come out and protect me and my son who was being assaulted by a family member. And it turned out that because I was crying, I was in emotional distress, they felt that I was not safe or fit to have my son in my care. They took him away June 3rd, 1998. And I never saw him again after that until we reunited 8 years ago.
Wow, because typically it seems, I mean, from the outside looking in, a lot of times it seems like it's very difficult for a parent to lose custody that easy. Was it something that that you didn't fight for at the time, or was it something that they just kind of overbeared you with all the political system?
Well, you got to remember, in the 90s, our system was very flawed. It's still flawed. It's always going to be flawed, right? But in the 90s, they had a fast track adoption program. That was something that the governor thought would be fit to place kids that were under the age of 5 in permanent placement within 6 months of being removed. I happened to be one of the guinea pigs for that program. I was one of the first in a pilot program that they were trying out in California in the 90s. And that was, predominantly Black and brown, families that were being targeted because we have less representation, right? We come from minorities. We don't have the financial means to fight a system as big as dependency court. And so I did everything I possibly could as a mother at the age of 15 to fight the injustices. And that's what led me to my career now, 26 years later, representing and helping families out there advocating for these injustices. The system, like I said, it's our kids equal money. And so if they could profit off of our kids within the system, they're going to do so. And that's what they did with my son, is a black market.
Now, when did, you said you just linked back up with your son 8 years ago?
Yes.
And now, how was his life prior to you meeting him?
Well, my son was abused. They thought that they were going to place him in a family where he wasn't going to have any trauma or be abused, and it was going to be better than what, he was born into, which was totally opposite. So he went to a family that had no cultural background ties, which is something that DFCS does often, which is not placing kids within their culture so that they can have that cultural connection, right? He was placed with a Caucasian family that had no roots or ties to his indigenous side. And he was physically, sexually, and verbally and emotionally abused for the whole duration of being in that placement.
Now, how is your relationship with your son now?
Me and my son's relationship's great, and that's by the grace of God. Yeah, we reunited 8 years ago, and I never stopped looking for him. I looked for him, all the time, and when I found him, as soon as he turned 18, I went and snatched him up, brought him home. So he's been home with me ever since.
Really?
Yeah.
So now, how did you find him, first of all? And then how was the actual day of you guys meeting up?
Well, I had a friend that worked for a school district, and those of you that don't know, when you have a school system set up, kids' date of births don't ever change when they get adopted. Their names might change, but they keep the date of birth because it's just more ideal to do it. We put his name in the system and his date of birth, and he actually popped up under a different last name, but it was him. School pictures popped up, and as soon as I saw the picture, I was like, that's my son. A mother never forgets what their child looks like, regardless of the time that has passed. So as soon as I saw that it was him, I confirmed, got the address. I drove all the way to Dunlap, which is about 4 hours from me, and waited until he came out. And when I saw him, I approached him when he got off the bus or the van at school. I said his name. I said, Adam, and he looked right at me and said, Mom.
Oh wow!
Oh my God, that was like a blow to my heart because I thought that he forgot me. I never thought that moment was going to happen, and it did truly happen. And ever since then, he's been with me.
Now that he's been with you, are you now seeing, man, he's got some habits of mine, like, you know, little certain things.
Well, he looks just like me. He looks just like me, but, you know, he's in a boy version. He has my strong ethnics and, you know, my genes. They're very strong. So I'm very proud of the young man that he's become. And it's just unfortunate that he had to fall through the cracks and have to be a victim to the system because as, you know, a single young mom, you know, after him, I ended up having more kids, but I wanted to make sure I was going to break that cycle and it wasn't going to happen with the rest of my kids.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So.
And now, as far as breaking the cycle, what kind of family did you come from?
I came from a very dysfunctional, very chaotic, deep, entrenched trauma going back to generations after generations. And I thought that, you know, me having a father that I had a great father growing up. And, you know, my mom did the best that she can do. It just wasn't enough. It wasn't enough to keep myself and my siblings safe because we went through decades of trauma, sexual abuse, physical abuse, and neglect. And I wanted to protect my kids from that.
Nice. It's great that you got your son back and that, like I said at the beginning, we're here trying to make, you know, a positive out of a negative.
Absolutely.
And now let's shift to you, Sam's Cry. How did you get involved? Give us the whole backstory of you know, where this movie ended up coming from.
Well, it came from a story from a good friend of mine, of her son, the injustice of what took place in his life, and basically came from a broken home as well, and disturbed, and basically he faced a lot of emotional and mental health issues regarding the trauma that he endured throughout the years of abuse in the home, and basically when he got to teenage, he ended up in a system. So, and I'm talking about the Youth Authority. Right. And in that time, in the 90s, the Youth Authorities were actually, a lot of corruption was going on during that time. A lot of abuse, a lot of sexual assaults as well.
Absolutely.
And there was so much that was going on that, I mean, they even closed down the Whittier Nellis, you know. That was one of the biggest ones that was actually violating a lot of children. A lot of lawsuits were taking place from Whittier Nellis. And so in that, I decided to write his story, and it was an injustice regarding some mental health issues. And they wanted to force drug him, and he denied the drug. And in that, as he arrived 4 hours later, you know, he was killed. So it was the injustice of the situation of, just like she said, you know, what they do to suppress us, what they do to as minorities. You know, we don't have a voice. And this happened in 1999. Right. And there's no voice. And I met this one person, and he's seen it, the movie, and he said, wow, it changes, and I say it changed the narrative of George Floyd. He's not the first person that couldn't breathe. So Sam was one who couldn't breathe, and he, you know, he yelled, and he did whatever he could at that time, and they basically asphyxiated him.
Now, like, as far as you saying George Floyd, I think it's a perfect comparison, because with us, though, however, we can have 10 George Floyds, but it seems like the Latino community would just look the other way.
Yeah.
Is that something that I'm wrong on, or you think
no?
that's...
I think you're absolutely right.
And I just spoke with somebody not too long ago, right? And it's exactly the thing. They're talking about how Latinos are just so, like, they don't like to express themselves, you know what I mean? Like, we just see things and we don't talk about it, you know, and that's the problem. That's the issue that's going on. It's like, you know, for instance, you know, me being the, you know, one of the producers on it working on this movie, you know, I learned a lot about it and the story and everything, you know. So it's like when Sam, you know, how didn't the mom see the signs of the son being out there on the streets and getting, you know, into the mix, pues, you know, growing up on the calles, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, and it happens every day. It still happens, you know what I'm saying? Like, families are too concerned about providing for their families, so they don't see the big picture. They don't see what's going on. You know what I'm saying? I'm a product of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, my parents came here. I tell everybody this. Think about it. I tell everybody, a lot of Hispanic. I'm a first generation, I guess, Chicano, right?
Yes.
Because my parents were born in Mexico. You know what I'm saying? So I tell everybody, your parents were born in Mexico, and they came to this country with one idea, and that is to work. You know what I mean? To be a slave. You know what I'm saying? I think about it, right? They came here with one idea, was to be a slave, to work for the, you know, and provide for their families, and that's it. And that's how I feel that a lot of things go wrong, because, you know, they're just too focused on that. And I understand they got to provide for the families and all that, you know what I mean? But man, we got to really start dealing with this, you know what I mean? Like, everything starts at home.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Everything that happens to everybody is because families are overlooking the most important thing, you know, and those are the values, you know, the home communication. Communication is the first thing. Right. You don't, Hispanic communities don't communicate with their kids, and they just let them do whatever. And now it's more like, fucking give them everything, give them a phone, give them this, you know, whatever they want, you know, give it to them. You know what I'm saying? And that's a lot of the issues, you know what I'm saying? I feel, you know, so.
Well, I believe also, like, when your parents came here, and a lot of parents came here for the first time, it's a different lifestyle. So, you know, they're coming from the rancho, they're coming from the third country, mm-hmm. They're coming here to work and try to provide a better life for you. Yes. But while they're doing that, a lot of times our parents didn't have money to sit there and send us to some daycare. Our parents didn't have money to sit there, you know, and send us to baseball, softball, football. Yes. That costs a lot of money. So what happens is they're going to work. They're thinking, well, you know, stay home. I got to go to work. And then the streets start taking over. Yes. And then the streets start raising you. The difference I see now, Spider and crew, is that we know better.
Yeah.
Our generation knows better.
Exactly.
You know, and what do we do to break that cycle? Because at this point in life, I mean, we were talking earlier off air, saying that drama sells, beef sells, you know, all that stuff, and it still does. But when you try to speak positive and you try to change the narrative, that doesn't sell in our community.
It's because our communities, they love the cheese man. You know what I'm saying? They love it. You know,
like,
the madre. You know what I'm saying? And it's okay. It's understanding, but there has to be a point where sometimes we have to, let's sit down and really listen to somebody like us talking, coming out here and talking. You know what I mean? Like, hey, I'm an ex-gang member and all that, and, you know, I turned into an actor because I got a couple opportunities, you know, and then I turned, so I was an ex-con, turned actor, turned community activist, you know. It took me to lose, when I lost my nephew to the streets, got gunned down, you know what I'm saying, a drive-by shooting. This kid was so courageous, he stepped in front of this other kid and took that bullet. And then here comes his girlfriend and to help him, and she takes another bullet. You know what I'm saying? So it takes that for somebody to wake up and see through the whole fucking, you know, everything. Because I have kids, and I finally woke up and said, you know what? Shit, I don't want that to happen to my son.
That's right.
You know, I don't want that to happen to my kids. I got to step it up as a parent. Yes, and I believe that's what the mission is here. That's what the mission is here, that we need to focus on our communities at home. Each and every one of us focus on our home, you know, to make sure that our kids can tell us, hey, you could tell me anything. You know what I mean? Like, you know, if they're sexually abused, or if they're, you know, somebody's bullying them at school, or, you know, whatever it is, you know what I'm saying? Like, we need to step it up as parents so that our kids can be comfortable and freaking tell us what's going on. You know what I'm saying? Communication. Yeah. Once again, communication. You know what I'm saying? And I feel that that's kind of like the root of it, you know, and it takes Angel Ray right here to create a movie focused on the social injustice of it. You know what I mean? Like this happens all the time. How many cases are out there where a kid gets taken in? You know what I'm saying? So Sam, he was in a youngster, and he went to prison because youth authority, because one of his friends that was a gang member, whatever, sent him on a mission or whatever. Say, hey, go deliver this for me, whatever. And then they get all caught up and all this and that. You know what I'm saying? Now he's sent out there. All this shit happens, right? Next thing you know, he gets out, and then he fucking, they think that he's just not suitable for the streets, for society. So they put him back in there, and now he's under evaluation. And they put him in this fucking place where there's abuse going on, all kinds of fucking shit going on, and then staff gets him and then chokes him out accidentally. So supposedly they know.
But behind the story, though, you gotta there's a positive side to it, and I think that's when you're asking about what can we do to solve this. The movie, as far as what we wanted to share, not just the fact of Sam's story, but of what it did to make a law. There was 2 laws that were made and enforced. So when it comes to our community, there's ways that we can propose laws. So you have to just know and what to do to propose a law, because as you see, most people propose laws like, when something bad happens, they propose a law like the drunk driving and all these things, and we have the right to go ahead and propose laws as well, and bring them to the Senate and to fight for. And that's something that we lack. We lack that knowledge. And behind Sam's story, we were able to create 2 laws.
I think sometimes we lack the knowledge, and we also just lack the unity into doing it.
Yes.
I remember a few years back when the Asian community seemed to be getting assaulted a lot. Within 6 months, they had funding. They had a law passed in California making it a hate crime. Yeah. And with us, it's so hard because we're so picky, bro. We're so picky about everything and anything. Nobody can represent us. We need like this super perfect person that just doesn't exist in our community. And it seems like, back to the George Floyd, there was so much raza out there supporting, rightfully so, right?
I couldn't understand. I didn't understand that. I still don't understand it, because now, it's like, where were they at when, okay, that ended pretty much, and then the keep the kids out the cages started, right? You know what I'm saying? And I was just like, okay, I went gun ho in there. I was in there, we were protesting against that and all that stuff. But I was just looking. I was in the background thinking like, well, where's all the other people that were supposed to help out? You know what I'm saying? But it's all good, because you know what? We're people that we stand for ours, and we always gonna do our thing. You know what I'm saying? Regardless if somebody help us or not. Pero sometimes we got to step out the box and just say, you know what, man, we do got to come out and support more. You know what I'm saying? And she nailed it about, that we can actually create laws and change laws. And that's where she comes in. Jennifer Celaya comes in, because she's the legal expert kind of, you know what I'm saying? And she's done a lot. She, with the New Beginnings, you know what I'm saying, organization, and helping, immigrant families and all that stuff. And she's helped change a lot through what she's been through and all that, and I feel like, you know what, man, hey,
you know what it boils down to, like when he said about, and it's unity. Unity is key, right? If there is no unity, then there's no progress, right? And she's right about the laws, the way we can make them. And unfortunately, in our state or United States of America, the way law is created is through case law. Something has to happen in order for law to be created. Yep. Otherwise, there is no law, right? And what you're speaking about is the bills that are passed through, the Congress and everywhere else to make it a law, right? But unfortunately, something bad has to happen in order to see that, right? And I think it's a lack of knowledge and a lack of understanding with our Latino community, right? Everyone wants to have one up on another instead of being united. Everybody wants to be divided because it's the ego. The ego comes in and it's like, I'm better than you. I don't want you part of this. There's no collaboration. And if there's no collaboration, right, it's just like the body of Christ. The body of Christ cannot operate unless it has every part of that body,
Exactly.
right? And it's the same with unity within our community, right?
Yes.
And if everybody's over here on this hood, this neighborhood, this color, that color, and everybody's set tripping, everyone's tripping off, you know. I'm from North, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I have people in my neighborhood tripping because I'm coming over to SoCal. I said, I
Yeah.
really don't care. I love
Yes,
SoCal, man. I'm about to
exactly.
be over there next weekend too.
Yes, that's
and
right.
the following.
Yes.
And I'll still represent my SoCal, right? And that's the naiveness of our people.
Yes.
The people
Yes.
keep themselves captive because they think they know better. And
Yeah.
it's that ego that sets us apart, right? Instead
Well,
of us coming together and supporting one another.
We got to target areas for our people.
Yeah.
What would be effective for our people,
Right.
and benefit our people.
Yes.
Like this movie, I had so many people in my DMs wanting to be on it.
Yeah.
Literally. And even to the point where I'm really excited, and I got emotional about it because I have a lot of cousins out in San Jose up north as well. I also have cousins in the South, and you already know how that all works.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's really sad to me because I look at everybody like family.
Yeah.
I don't care what. I call you family. I call you brother, especially if you're really tight with me. You're my brother. You're my family.
Right.
And I was really excited of the fact that even getting a couple people from up north in the movie as well, because what it does is it will spread nationally
Right.
based on the people that we have on it, because it's like in this movie we got like about over 50 something actors in it.
Yeah.
And they're all, known actors, some of them, and some of them have platform. Even he was in the movie as well.
Yeah.
And so, I think
Shout out to American Cholo for a great performance, by the way.
Yeah.
We just gotta break down those barriers.
yes. And so, and I got, there were some people that told me stuff, and I'm just like, I don't care. My
Yeah.
goal is the message.
Right.
My goal is for another thing that was really within my heart was to bring forth our people to the platform of entertainment.
Right.
That they're talented, that they got it, that
The opportunity.
yes, because I had worked in I'll just say I worked in Disney for 25 years. Most of it was a white and black race.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest with you, as a Chicana, we can't use race.
Right.
We're not race. We're
Right.
culture.
Right.
So anybody that were to say something to it, we can't use the race card.
Right.
The other white, black, they can use the race card whenever they feel like it. But
Right.
us, it doesn't apply to us. And so I seen a lot go on where our people were never noticed. I would see like basically even auditions. It would hurt me to see our people denied of characters or denied of something. It really
Right.
was. And I couldn't wait till the day came when I was able to produce this and actually cast the people I wanted. Because all the people that were on Sam's Crime, they didn't do no audition. Not one person did an audition. Every character was given to them.
Right.
They didn't have to audition. They didn't have to compete. It was handed to them.
Yeah.
And a lot of people ask me too. They go, "Did you have other choices to go ahead and cast somebody?" Yeah. You know how many, I've been with Disney for 25 years, worked with over thousands of performers, professional performers, singers, actors, you name it, dancers. Yeah, I could have picked somebody from Disney, but I
Yeah.
didn't. You know what? Why? I wanted my people.
Right.
I wanted to see our people to show their talent and their gifts.
So you saw it firsthand, and I've spoken about this years back. When Hollywood says inclusiveness, I always say inclusiveness means white, black, LGBTQ. Does not mean Latino. I mean, every show you see, if they say they want the TV to show what's in the world, it's like, wait a minute, we're not there, bro. And every
Yeah.
time I see a new show, it's like, all right, where's the Latino? I don't care. They make a Western movie. And more power to the brothers because they push their issue and that's why they're there.
Yes.
But they're there, brother. It could be a
Mhm.
1800s slavery movie. Now they're buddies with everybody else because they push their agenda so much. Whereas I believe it goes back to the culture where no llores, don't be crying, keep your head down, especially when our parents came in here and a lot of them were illegal at the time. It was don't make any noise because we don't want to,
Yeah.
Disturb anybody.
Exactly.
but we're not those illegal people anymore,
That's
bro.
learned behavior. And that's
Yes.
the thing is that we got to teach our kids in our community how to unlearn that behavior and learn new healthy behavior, right? And that's what it just boils down to is
Well-
that we're following suit. Status quo.
When
We
it,
got to break the status quo.
I'm sorry. When it comes to the entertainment now, though, because I'm in the union, and the law is now between New York and California is that they have to have 35% of diversity.
Yeah.
So basically, my encouragement to the people who are actually doing film, even in the Chicano entertainment, make sure you have diversity. because diversity will open up the door between Netflix, Amazon, all those areas, because that's what they have to put on now. They have to put the diversity and including us. And now if we just make a movie where it's all just Latinos and that's it, there's no diversity.
Yeah.
So you have to bring in diversity, and that means not just black, white. That doesn't just mean that. It means handicap. Right. It means it's just like when you seen the Mayans, special needs. The Mayans. What did you see? You seen a drawer. You seen a child that was Down syndrome. Yeah. So Disney was on it. Those are the things that now that the laws have changed, that we need to know and educate ourselves that when we're doing a movie, you better have diversity in order for it to stream.
Right.
And let me change it up a little bit. I'm a lot of times I'm center to the right when it comes to politics, right? So when I hear social injustice, I 100% agree with you. But at what point do we start taking accountability for a lot of the stuff that's going on in our community? Because like, especially out here in North Hollywood, and I'll have some co-hosts that will go back and forth. We have friendly debates about it, and like the drug problem, right? It seems like everything nowadays, unfortunately, it's mental health. It's mental health. But at what point do you just also say, no, estás pendejo, güey, get off that dope? You know, and it seems like everything is just, I get the mental health part, but at what point do we separate mental health from just straight pendejadas and you're getting high?
Accountability.
Yeah. So I would like to ask you that.
I think at some point, because mental health is deep, right? It goes way back, decades and centuries back, and you know, way past the 1990s, they didn't know much about mental health, right? So it really wasn't a thing, because it was like, don't talk about it, because then you're shunned and you're judged about it, right? So now it's more populated now because it is a thing, right? There's dual diagnosis, there's mental health and substance abuse. And I can agree with you about the fact that, you know, everybody puts a label like, well, it's mental health. Let's kind of just throw it under the, you know, sweep it under the rug, and let's let it go away. And I can speak to this personally because I have a son who's 22 that struggles as a fentanyl addict, right? And he has struggled with that since he was 17 years old. So as a mom who has an addict, I also too am an addict with him, because I have to go through all of the emotions, all of the waves, everything. Nobody sees that downfall of everything they go through. And I'm in the middle road because it's a decision. It's a choice that you make. Nobody's forcing you. Yes, drugs can cause the mental health and the psychosis, right? But it's a decision to that addict to continue taking it and continue wanting it and needing it, right? That's what they say, they need it. And I understand that, but there's more to it. Like I said, it's a choice, and we have to put on consequences and accountability. So as a mom who has a drug addict son, or not drug addict, but has an addiction, I have an understanding that I have to put consequences, because for many years I enabled my son.
Yes.
My daughter's here, she'll tell you, I always use the excuse, well, he's got mental health. He's got mental health, right? Yeah. Yes, he does. But my daughter here would say, that's not an excuse, Mom. That's not an excuse. He has a choice. He has an option to go this way, to go this way. And he chooses that lifestyle. So I had to learn to stop enabling my son and take accountability and say, you know what, your actions come with consequences. That's just what it boils down to. Now, when you get those consequences, whether it be jail, whatever it might be, then you start your rehabilitation. And rehabilitation is not always bad. Everyone thinks jail, prison, you know, all of these different, you know, parts of the justice system is, part of it is bad, but there are some that go in and get rehabilitated and actually need that. Some people need the enclosed structure.
Pause.
They need it. And that's just the truth about it. A lot of people get in arguments with me because they disagree, and I can agree to disagree. You know, I can have a positive conversation, a meaningful one that says, yes, we do need jails and prisons, but not to overpopulate them. Absolutely. We need to bring in programs that are going to actually produce results, and not deaths, and not more.
That's the part right there.
More people that are going to have mass incarceration to continue to come back and be like frequent, you know, flyers is what I call them. So I think it just boils down to taking accountability, and us as parents or community members, we really got to push the consequences, because they really will not take accountability if we don't force them out of their comfort zone.
Do you think the state of California is enabling them? Because I feel like they are. It's like, you get free housing, there's no drug test. You get money, there's no drug test. You get to post up in a tent in any street. It's like, it's giving every tecato, every dope thing. Here you go.
You want me to tell you why?
Yeah,
because with the state of California, if these problems don't exist, there's no money. It equals no money, right? So of course, the state of California knows we have a huge crisis, right? They know that we need services in place for these people, but it's a Band-Aid effect because if they resolve it, right, guess what? It goes away. There is no more money coming in, right? By the billions, by the boatloads is what I say. If we put a Band-Aid on it and just just scratch the surface and say, well, look we took them off the streets. We put them in, a hotel voucher. We gave them case management. Guess what? Because that's going to keep them coming back. So we can keep on checking off that checklist to say, look we still got 2,000 people out here that need the services. We need the money. And there's remedies. I ran for office 2 times in a row, right? I got shut down because the way I look, right? And because I don't fit the status quo. I'm not Caucasian, and I don't have that education as some pristine politicians have. But what I do have is I have heart and integrity, right? And a couple of the things that I was suggesting was I'm for the people and I know what poverty looks like. I came from it, right? If you want to get these benefits like cash aid and food stamps, guess what? I'm going to put you in a program. You need a test. I need to know that you're clean. And guess what? I'm going to put you in a program where you need to work to get those benefits. Because as a single mom for years, I worked 2 jobs, 3 jobs, supporting all 5 of my kids by myself. I didn't get government assistance. I didn't qualify because I made too much. But then I have somebody that is getting $300 in food stamps just because they're saying they're homeless. And guess what? They're trying to sell it to me. And I'm like, wait a minute, what's wrong with this system, right? And it's because of the fact that if we don't have these people making up the list that the government needs to continue to bring in this money, the money goes away and their pockets just, they go away, right? So
haven't we seen the rise in addicts like skyrocket in the last 10 years?
They love it. They love it though. Yes. The state of California loves it. Why wouldn't they? You know how much more money they get for those drug addicts, for the clinics, for the vouchers they're going to put out there. And half the time, I want to say 95% of that money does not even go into those services. It goes into COs. It goes into the elected officials. It goes into that pot that is just sitting there. Like, what are you doing with that pot of money? Oh, it's a reserve. Bullshit. It's a reserve. It's a reserve for your pocket. It's a reserve for your new house that you're building. It's a reserve for your trips. And the reason why I know this is because I've rubbed elbow with elected officials, majority of my career, 26 years. And that's why I took a step and a leap to say, I'm going to run for office because I'm tired of this shit, right? I'm sick of the buffoonery and I'm tired of status quo, And if we want to be giving out benefits like hotcakes like that, why don't you give it to the people that are actually working, paying taxes? Give it to them. And the ones that need it and want it because they have no other option, they're going to work for it. Yes. It's the same thing with the prison system. They're just sitting there doing nothing. Guess what? I'm getting all those boys and all them girls on a bus. And guess what? You're going to go work. Yes. I'm putting your asses to work. So guess what? Our tax dollars don't got to be misused and misplaced and lost, right? Right. There's so many things we can do, but the reason why they don't is because it equals no more money coming up in here, right? So we just got to be realistic about it. And that's why we got to take that stand and take care of our communities and do the work that the government's never going to do for our people.
Forced rehab. What do you think? In other words, if I see some guy out there, and I don't need to be a medical expert to say, this guy doesn't need to be on the streets. He's out here screaming, going crazy. Would you be for some type of forced rehab and force also, like, put him in mental institutions?
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. Yeah. And that's where they wanted it. Like, I'll be honest. I mean, I had a drug issue one time and I came high, when I was young, and my dad called the cops real quick. I was out the door, handcuffed, and now we didn't waste no time.
Juvenile hall all day long.
Yeah, all day long until he realized, okay, now I have to pay out for her to be there, so I better pull her out. But yeah, of course, I went into a rehab myself, and I think rehabs are good. And the only thing is now with the rehabs, they have they have to have license and counseling and stuff like that for drug counselors and stuff. The churches used to have a lot of men's homes and a lot of women's homes, but now that they required, the state came in and started to require drug diversion, drug counseling certificates and stuff like that, which made it very hard for the churches to even have men's homes and women's homes. But a lot of these big clinics, they're making huge money, huge big money to
It's pharma.
detox. Oh, yes, it is. It's most of our Latino people are actually sending people to Mexico.
Oh, TJ. You can go to TJ across
You can go to TJ for the rehabs.
And they
because
keep
they're
you.
cheaper.
Oh, yeah. I had a boy of mine get kidnapped. He was out there for about 2 years.
But the thing, but did he come back better?
He was better for about 2 years, and then he met some chick, and she said, "Let's get high and party." And now he's still out there, dude. And he's a real good friend of mine. And I talk about drug stuff all the time on the podcast, and I tell him, because people say, "Gil, you're cruel, you're this and that." And I saw him a few years back, and I'm saying, "Hey, fool, he's like, "No, bro, you're telling like it is." Like, I wish I could get off this stuff. And most of the homies that are out there getting high, they wish there was a magic pill they could take to not use drugs, but unfortunately the system is enabling them. The system is keeping them going. But it's refreshing to hear you say that, because a lot of times I get on the spectrum where people just get stuck on that mental health, and I've yet to hear one single politician say, "Yeah, man, we have a huge drug problem in this country, especially in the state." And it's like,
well, you want to know why? Because the biggest drug dealers in the United States are the politicians, are the government officials.
Yes.
In San Jose, California, we had she was the chief of the police union or something like that, and it was a big old scandal in San Jose last year. She was busted in one of the biggest drug busts in Santa Clara County for the fentanyl. She was bringing fentanyl from India, from China. She was ordering, and guess what she blamed it on? She blamed it on her Hispanic maid, saying that she used her computer and was making these orders. I'm like, come on. And what happened? She was all over the news for about a couple of weeks, and then she disappeared. It's like, where did she go? You know what I'm saying? But Chapo was in the news on a daily, right? So it's like, and this is what we fail to realize, is that the reason why we have these issues is because the people that are behind it, right?
Yes.
You think that the government is not benefiting on these drug transactions and all of these things that are coming in and out of our country. Of course they are. They know what's going on. They're not stupid. I mean, if the money's right, you know what I'm saying? You're going to get into every door you can possibly get into. And, and I say that with a grain of rice or a grain of salt, is because when I ran for office, every door got shut on me. Why? Because I didn't want to follow status quo with them. I didn't want to sit there and say, "Oh yes, no. I'm not for, forced mental health, this or that." They wanted me to like follow suit and just, I'll do that. No, bullshit. I won't do that. Guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to take every homeless person off the street. If they want money, guess what? I'm going to put them to work, and then I give them some money. Then they can get their benefits, and they can get this. They can work for their voucher. The same way that I would have to work to pay my bills is the same way they can work. If they can get up and they can go get a hit and go cross town, take a bus all the way to another town and go get a hit, guess what? You can get up and mop and
they'll work for it. They'll work for it.
Exactly. So you have to be strategic, and we got to be realistic about these things. And people are afraid to talk about this stuff, right? Because they don't want to hear the truth. They want to be sugar-coated and get patted on their ass, as my dad would say. You know what I mean? We ain't sweetie no pot over here.
Now, Spider, I got a question for you. We'll get this conversation. Are we as Latinos just less intelligent than Güeros, less intelligent than Europeans? Let me get where I'm going. Let me get where I'm going.
We are smart.
Let me get where I'm going.
Sometimes we're too smart for our own good.
After so many years of getting the cycle of gang violence, it seemed like every race, whether it was Irish, whether it was the Jews, Italianos, they all went through the same phase of gangs as us, but eventually they leveled it up, became their mob, and after they came out, they became regular citizens running businesses. It seems like we as Latinos and brothers, we stuck. We in the hood, and it's just a cycle that continues and continues. So my question is, why do you think that is?
I think that social media and all this stuff, right? Gangs and everything, that just kind of amps it up more and all that. And it's kind of difficult. You know why? Because our culture is the fastest trending culture around the world. Now, do you see social media with these Vietnamese, these people in Japan, Russia, all over the world, they're dressing like us, bro.
Yes.
So what are you thinking, bro? Our youngsters are seeing this shit like, fuck yeah, we badass motherfuckers. Guess what? We are badass motherfuckers, but we need to level up.
Yep.
We need to start thinking like, you know what? We need to fucking, I don't care. Look at me. I still dress like the fucking 90s. I don't care. But guess what? I'm a smart, intelligent man now. You know what I'm saying? That I'm trying to help my communities. That's why I organized this little meeting right here with Angel Ray, Jennifer, and you. Right? Because right from the gate, what did I tell you? I said, yeah, there's a lot of podcasts out there, but they don't have the intellectuals, that's the people out there, the viewers, that's you people out there. You know what I'm saying? Right. This page, this American Cholo, I believe, has a lot more people that are a lot more intelligent and know what's up. So my goal here is that for you motherfuckers out there to get the fucking picture and step out of your comfort zone, all right? And vote for the right people, okay? Get your kids, you know what I'm saying? Don't give up on your kids if they're using drugs. You know what I'm saying? Fucking, gotta fucking, you gotta take responsibility. You guys gave birth to them. You take them, you know what I'm saying? So they're not out in the calles fucking doing this madre, keep getting drunk and high and all that bullshit, you know what I'm saying? And, you know what I'm saying? You gotta speak up, people. You fucking snap out of it, you know what I'm saying? That's it.
Can I chime in really quick on that question you asked them?
Of course.
Because what I believe it's our people are stuck there because it's a belief theory, right? If you don't believe in yourself that you're good at anything or could amount to anything other than what you're accustomed to, what you were taught growing up, because that's our culture, right? You go down from generation to generation, gangs, drugs, whatever. It's easier to be that way because it's comfortable. People don't like being uncomfortable. And our young youth these days, they don't like being uncomfortable and really striving for more and for better, right? And that's why you see other cultures, they own houses. They got generational wealth like crazy. And that's something I try to teach my daughter. I'm like, let's do generational wealth with it. Let's start buying houses. Let's start maximizing and capitalizing on our money, what we can do, and being business owners. I'm the first generation of my family as an entrepreneur and a business owner with a book, a documentary, a nonprofit, and, a for-profit. So I'm trying to teach the rest of my family so it could be a domino effect. Like, you know what? We are better and we can do this, good. If you choose to. It's a belief factor, right? That's right? Because when we're growing up, I remember being called a bitch and this and that.
You gotta impart. Yes, you gotta pour in.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. So I just think it boils down to a choice. You choose the life that you live, right? Regardless if there's opportunities, so many opportunities out there. You just gotta go and get them. Absolutely. Period.
And I'm gonna add to that. Check this out. I've been dealing with all these things, becoming a community activist, right? Working, volunteering at programs and to help others and stuff and learning stuff. Like I worked with GRID, which is Gang Reduction Youth Development. And they got us, it was me and a team of, we were all 6. We came up with coping strategies to help these people, these employees, which was, they're, ex-gang members, and so teaching them coping strategies about wellness and all that and how to deal with certain things because, when they get a call that they're, the kids that they're mentoring, were, they lost their life to, a gang thing, or some type of thing, they died. They gotta be the ones to go out there to those families, right? And tell them that their kid just died. So now these ex-gang members, these workers, these employees are dealing with this and they don't know how to deal with this. So that's why they had us create these coping strategies and, I helped put together, what is it called? PowerPoints. Yeah, PowerPoint. Shit, you know what I mean? Like I'm not college degree. You know what I'm saying? I'm not shit, but I guess so. I went through a lot. You know what I'm saying? But here's one thing that I learned also too that people don't understand, here's back to what you were saying. People get down talked in families, especially Hispanic families. People get down talked every day to their kids. Yeah. Well, they don't know what they're doing. It's called jackal language. All right. Now, jackal language. There's a difference between jackal language. That's what they're getting versus giraffe language. Okay. And I'm not sure if you know that. No, but I know you know about that. You know what I'm saying? But so dealing and reading, educating myself on how to work with youngsters. You know what I'm saying? How to work with youngsters to break through and actually have conversations where they can actually be mindful about things and understand that it's not like that. And so that's where the jackal language comes in. Down talking to these kids every day. My parents did it because his parents did it. You know what I'm saying? And it's just generational curses, people, and so I'm not blaming you. I'm not blaming but I'm blaming the fucking generational curses that we've been through. And so, you know what? This is me telling you right now, people, snap out of it, man. It's just fucking, we got to work together. We got to learn these things. Go read a fucking book. Everything's online. Whatever you got to do, I don't care. But you need to definitely focus on your freaking home and learn how to cope, get these coping strategies, research how to work with kids, how to counsel your own damn kids. And I feel that we're going to fucking take on more, and our communities are going to get better and stronger within our home. And that's what's going to change the communities. Exactly. You know what I mean? That's going to change the communities. You know what I'm saying? And that's where I'm coming from, people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No, it definitely starts at home. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And you doing your thing, Jennifer doing her thing, Angel doing her thing, that's reducing that next generation of kids doing that. I've said this many times on my podcast. The majority of all my nieces and nephews, I would say 95%, bro, they're not gang members, homie. They're not gang members. They're not perfect kids, but
the focus was there.
The focus was there, bro. We all started taking our kids, to Little League, and we started coaching, and these are all my cuñados, my wife. We're all gang members from the hood, homie. But this time around, we're trying to be those gang members in the hood where the little homies are seeing us like, man, look at those guys, man. They're working to take care of business. But the thing that really bugs me, especially when it comes to the homeless thing or the unsober, the unhoused, whatever you want to call them, is to me it seems like we're getting all these billions of dollars and we're investing in a bunch of trees with rotten fruit and all the little trees down there that are future children. Dude, there's no really after school programs for them. There's no money being funded to those programs to get them kids off of drugs, off of gangs, off the streets. Everybody's.
But why would they though? It goes back to that. It equals to the money. If they were to do that, we're not going to have that little future of those little young ones running around on the streets getting more hooked on it, right? So there's a purpose for that.
They won't have a youth.
And that's the thing, is that we got to really step up and we got to take care of our own, because if we don't, government's not going to do it.
Yeah, they won't have the jobs for incarceration that would take all the correctional officers' jobs away and everybody else's jobs away.
Right.
That's all designed to oppress and suppress.
The majority of the prison systems, who is there? Who's in what ethnic?
60%, I heard. 60% is Latinos.
Latinos,
It's actually went up. It's like about 80% in Latinos.
Oh, I bet after COVID, especially after COVID, after COVID, they gave everybody free money. Guess what? All the Latinos got all the free money and started, getting more high, more drip, more beer, more.
Yeah, but the Latino prison system is broken as well in a lot of ways. But as far as from what I understand, that the Latinos are the ones who are running the prisons right now.
But that's also a curse, though, at the same time. Because we, especially in our generational time, and still now, we praise prison, bro.
I don't know why.
It's like the homie just got a prison. We look at it as like, somebody in Beverly Hills comes out. Damn, he just came out of being a doctor. He just did 7 years. He just did 7 years at Harvard or Princeton. Yeah. We're like, oh, that fool just got a Folsom. Oh, that fool, like, dude. And the homie's like, oh.
I think that's like the only highlight.
It's a huge badge of honor.
And the level, the tier of the levels.
Yeah, too, it's a huge badge of honor. Mm-hmm. And to this day, I want to say, we're the only races like that. The brothers aren't like that. The widows aren't like that. It's like you have to. It's like we're an old tribe. We're still doing the warrior thing. But at some point, we gotta be like, we could keep our culture, but not that part of it.
And you know, it's funny that you talk about the prison system. I was just telling somebody this the other day when somebody got out. They were out for about 5 months, and they're like, "Look, I just got in for doing 26 years. How do you expect me to get a job or do anything? It's only been 5 months." And I said, "Wait, first of all, you're in there, you're stuffing notes up in there, you got a cell phone up in the rear, you got all this little structure you got going on, right? You're structuring all these little gangs, doing all this. You're the leader. Why can't you come out here and start a business and lead your own business and structure it like that?"
I know there's somebody right now in the prison system with their phone looking at American Cholo podcast right now, and they're listening to her, and they're like, "So what are you saying, woman? I need to make a resume before."
Well, yeah. Well, no. The thing is if let me tell you this, and I know for a fact, if you could be that structured in prison and do all of that, you can still actually run a business from being in prison if you were smart. If these guys were smart, and the women too, if they were really smart and tap into the intellectual side, because I'm a money maker, right? When I was in juvenile hall, I was making money even when I was in juvenile hall, right? I didn't care if I was locked up 20 days, 30 days, girls ranch a whole year. I was still making money, you know, it never
You're
sleeps.
hungry, you'll make
It
money.
never sleeps, right? So you got to have that drive and that
Yes.
desire to want that, right? And for me, being at the age of 10, selling dope on the streets and being in and out of jail, juvenile hall, all this stuff, I knew that I could be somebody better and greater, right? And I could make money the right way and do it the right way,
Yes.
right? So it's just about tapping into wanting to have the drive to do it and want better for the ones that are watching. Those are my whys right there. My kids, my 6 kids and my grandson, those are my whys every single day when I get up and want to strive for better, you know? So it's a choice. It's a choice.
I feel that our raza, right? The ones that been growing up through all the gang life and all that and stuff, I feel like they're just stuck in their ways, you know. They just feel like, well, I don't know anything else. I only know how to sell drugs or whatever. No, man. If you know how to sell drugs, you're a salesman.
Go sell cars.
Yeah, hey.
Go sell cars.
Yes, hey. You could be a salesman. You can sell cars. Hey, I was a salesman. I was a salesman for 25 years. I sold cars, you know, and I've always been that type of person, you know, that I adapt. What the fuck was that?
You breaking stuff already?
I adapt. You know what I'm saying? I had no choice but to adapt at a young age. I'm talking about 6 years old, man. You know what I'm saying? I was getting bullied at school. You know what I'm saying? Because my parents were poor and only dressed me up like a little paisa kid and all that stuff, you know? And so all the Chicano kids were trying to make fun of me or whatever and flash their money and toys around me. And guess what? That broke me. And I didn't want to be that person. I fucking started mugging them. I started taking their money. That's why I got kicked out of the LA school district and moved out to the Valley, San Fernando, you know, Valley. And so, you know, I've always learned to adapt. I had no choice. You know what I mean? Pull out stereos came out. Boom, there it is. Boom.
That was you taking
new
my
income.
shit. That was you.
Hey, it's Pesa, homeboy. You know what I mean? I needed that fucking video.
You left your car on blast.
But you know, I've always been like that. You know what I mean? And so I've always been. And then I gotta try to sell it, right? So guess what? I've always been I became a businessman because I gotta find ways to sell this shit. You know what I'm saying?
What a lot of youth don't understand, even older homies that are stuck in that thing.
Yeah.
It's the same game, homie. It's the same hustle. It's the same hustle, but you can live like a gangster and not worry about the feds coming knock on your door.
Exactly.
Because getting that quick money, it's fun, it's easy, but
man, there's real estate. Man, you can get into real estate. You can get into you know, what else? They got, you know, cell phones. You can sell cell phones, man. You know, there's a lot of different ways.
You just got to be creative.
Yeah, you got to be
creative.
There is not anything wrong with you coming out of the dope game and turning your life around and becoming a legitimate businessman. There's not. I'm proud of you. If you're out there and you do this, man, I'm proud of you, man, because we need to become those intellectual persons and talk to other people and get that game, get that knowledge, man. Don't be scared out there, people. Raza, don't be scared out there to talk to somebody, reach out to somebody, say, homie,
exactly.
You see, he just graduated from college or whatever.
Yeah.
Hey, man, get
so
some
much,
game off him, man.
There's so much out there.
There's a lot of people that are willing to help you, man. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, you need some information on, you know, doing things, you know, as far as the right way, you know, with the legal system, you know, expungements. You saying, like, people always look for some type of excuse, like, oh, I'm an ex-con, I got felony. Hey, man, you know what? Don't worry about it. Talk to her. Talk to Jennifer Celaya.
She'll do her background.
She'll do, you know, she could maybe get you a expungement, you know what I mean? It doesn't matter what it is, and it doesn't hurt to try.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, she's working on mine, you know what I mean? I love this woman. She's my little sister, you know. Angel Ray, you want to get in the entertainment business, you know what I'm saying? You want to talk to Angel Ray. She knows a lot of people.
Yeah, I got another upcoming project as well.
I mean, come on, people. You know, you want to become a fucking podcast guy?
Yeah.
Talk to American Cholo, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean?
Anything's possible when it comes to it. If you have a drive and a passion to do something, such even when I wrote the Sam's Cry, a lot of people are blown away that I literally wrote my script on my phone.
Nice.
On my cell phone. That's the only thing I had. I had nothing else.
Determination.
Tenacity.
Yes. And I didn't have a computer. I didn't have a laptop. I did everything on my phone, and I did all my scripts on my phone.
Nice.
So if it's you know, there's sometimes people don't think that things are impossible, but they're possible.
Yeah.
When you have a drive and a passion, and you know that you have to survive, you have to make it, and you got to make it happen. If anybody has to make it happen, it has to be you.
Yeah,
you
and
yourself.
It's simple because, you know, we live in a world of issues, right? There's issues from the time that you wake up to the time you go to sleep. It's about creating a solution. People pay for results and solution.
Yes.
Okay, and I'm a perfect example. I'm not a high school graduate. I barely graduated from college a year ago. Took me 14 years to get 2 degrees, right?
Yes.
And I was able to go into business right away, right? So I didn't. You gotta not let yourself hold yourself back, right?
Yes.
And want to have that.
Yes.
So as a parent that had, you know, 5 kids to take care of, you know, 75-year-old dad I was taking care of, going to school and working 2 jobs, I still made it happen. And I decided, like, okay, I need to get into business because I couldn't go work a regular 8 to 5. So you can do it if you really want to do it. You know, all these little young guys out there, little, you know, young youth out there, you guys could really do it if you really put your mind to it. Entrepreneurship, it just takes, you know, dedication.
And if you're looking on here right now and say, "Fuck, I want to do that. I want to do that shit, man." But I'm an alcoholic. I'm a drug addict. Hey, man, guess what? It's never too late, bro. Look in the mirror every day. I tell the story to everybody. Look in the mirror every day and tell yourself, I'm done. I'm done with these drugs. I'm done with the alcoholism, whatever. You know what I mean? So one day at a time, man. You know what I'm saying? Recovery. It's all about recovery. First, get yourself right, and then you could do this shit. You could do whatever you want to do, man. So you just got to commit to it, man. And you got to be tired. You got to be tired of this bullshit. You know what I mean? Because if you're not, you're going to only end up being that what is it called? Another statistic.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? You're gonna be another statistic. You're gonna be one of those guys or one of those women that everybody's talking about. That you know what I'm saying? And so we don't have to be that statistic, people. Just fucking, we gotta just snap out of it and say, you know what? That's it. I'm done with that shit. I'm somebody. You know, you have a voice and you're somebody. But through the years, everybody made you think that you're nobody. And you know what? Don't fucking believe that shit. Believe in yourself. I'm here to tell you, I'm a product of that. I fucking believe in myself, and I'm out here on the calles, everywhere, whatever, on social media, trying to help everybody I can, trying to put the things together, trying to connect people. That's what I don't care. People say like, "Damn, Spider, you fucking doing too much," and this is that. Hey man, we're doing shit. That's what God gave me, something. And I'm doing it. That's the passion to fucking keep moving forward with people. And I hang out with the best. You know what I'm saying? And that's it. I don't care.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And if anybody thinks, you know, that they're going to look at you a different way or whatever, so what? Who gives a fuck? Hey, man, fucking you could do so much in your communities, man. I'm telling you, baby.
Typically, when people are looking at you a different way, it's because they don't have the courage to do what you're doing.
Exactly.
To speak against the stuff that we're doing. But we're doing it because a lot of this stuff, this was taboo back in the days, bro. You don't speak about stuff like this, especially in the hood. But to anybody watching, here's 4 people here, 2 women, 2 men that came from the gutter, came from the bottom, had very low self-esteem, because I don't care what people say, you a gang member, you have very low self-esteem. You think less of yourself. You think you're not worth anything. And until you figure out, I'm somebody, I love myself, you're not going to change. And that's why some people don't understand why.
And those are traumas. You got traumas? Guess what? I got fucking traumas too, but I had to teach myself to get over those traumas and just fucking, that's in the past. You know what I'm saying? First of all, learn to deal with these traumas. You know what I'm saying? There's people out there that you can talk to. There's counselors. There's just so much out there, people, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, learn to deal with those traumas and move forward. Don't think about the past. Get out of that fucking depression shit. You know
Spider, if you can go back and talk to yourself when you were, I don't know, 18 years old, bro, and you're talking to yourself now, what's one thing you would have liked to let yourself know?
I mean, I don't know. You know, I mean, thinking now back.
Yeah, thinking now back.
Like if I can go back in time.
And being able to tell yourself something.
And tell myself somebody, I'll be like, look, bro, you're somebody. I tell myself that. I would tell myself, look, fucker, you're somebody. You got a voice. You matter. You're going to make a difference later in life. That's what I would tell myself, bro. Leave those drugs. I mean, I started using drugs at a young fucking age, bro. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, it's just, you know, it just, It's out there. I know this, it's out there, right? But it's up to you to make a choice. So young people out there, man, say no to drugs, man. That'd be the best thing you could ever fucking do in your life. Trust me. Trust me, man, because once those drugs got you, man, that's it, man. You're stuck in that fucking thing. Then you gotta try to find a way how to fucking break that addiction and all that. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah, when I see little homies in the hood, and I already see they're already from the hood, right? So at this point, there's nothing I can really everybody get in. And I be telling them, listen, homie, I know you're gonna do what you're gonna do. I ain't gonna say one thing. Don't get high, homie. Don't use meth. You want to get that's on you. But in older homies, that's the only thing that upsets me. I'm like, I tell them, if any older homie tries to give you meth or carga, that ain't your homie, fool.
Yeah.
That ain't your homie, because a real OG's gonna tell you, Charlie, homie, don't touch this shit. But nowadays, I don't even think it's nowadays. Just in general, misery loves company.
Yeah.
So they want to see everything.
Now this was back in the 90s. Fucking in the 80s and 90s, all that shit, right? Like it was old school back then. You know what I'm saying? We didn't have the social media. We didn't have the technology. We didn't have people. So you know what? Back to my young people out there, man. You guys are our next generation, man. Make it fucking work. Make it worth it. You don't need it. Our parents came from Mexico to give us a second life and all that shit. So that's already done. We done with that shit. We are a different class of people now out there. You know what I'm saying? And I want you to know, hey man, don't give up your dickies and don't give up that shit. That's our trend. That's our culture. So what? But yes,
that's his wife talking. Don't give up the dickies.
Hey, read a fucking book, man. Educate yourself, people. Work on yourself,
that's
people.
Right.
Fucking, we could do so much more. Years from now, you're gonna be thinking like, fucking Spider was right, bro. Look at me. I'm a fucking somebody now. You know what I mean? I got my own business. I got all this. And that's because you fucking believed in yourself.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's all, man.
But the thing was, you were always a somebody. You were always a somebody. You were always somebody.
We just didn't know it. We didn't see it.
We had to step into our call.
Because nobody fucking talked to us like that. Right. Nobody motivated us.
Bro. Straight
you know
up,
what I'm saying? Nobody motivated us. Everybody's like, hey, the type of motivation we got back in the days was like, hey, homie, you're gonna go get the pisto or I'm gonna go get it. You're gonna do the beer run or I'm gonna do it.
Like, but if you think about it, I don't think any of us would be sitting here had we not gone through all those trials.
Exactly.
We had to go through all of that to be able to be sitting here.
Step out of our comfort zone. We had to step out of our comfort zone.
I think everybody has their destiny and their journey to go through to realize where their call is at.
Pain for purpose.
Everything, all the purpose and pain does have a lot of the results of everything that's going to come into your life that you know what you're called to. Yeah. And sometimes some people can never find out where they're called to, but a lot of people find, when you find who you are and what you can do best, that's when you gravitate to it, chase it, grab it and, make it happen. Right. Because other than that, I know where I can't do certain things. Yeah. Like I know I can't do administration stuff, but but I'm a full artist. Right. And full writer, creator. That's me. And a lot of people have to find themselves. They have to find what they're good at and understand that they have to make a goal and to educate themselves in those areas that can benefit their lives and make it happen.
Right. Now, Sam's Cry. Where can people find the movie? And what's what when you made it? What was the point you want people to walk out feeling?
I want them to, I believe that Sam's Cry hits every area in someone's home when it starts off with the domestic violence in the home, what it causes children watching their parents fight and be divided. Because let's face it, when there's fighting in the home, our children fight in school. They have this anger and resentment and they act out in school. And then some of them become bullies or whatever. And then it's the transition of Sam from young to youth, adolescent, to an adult, and to his, final, what took place. He suffered from PTSD. And a lot of us do suffer from PTSD. We don't see it. We don't recognize it until we're certain things that trigger us. Some people can just trigger off someone's hand because that hand resembles something that they dealt with. You get me? I've heard women say that when they see a man's hand, they're like, and it triggers them. And so there's like, it could be anything. Like me, my brothers were active gang members. When I hear gunshots, when I hear anything that sounds like a gun, I reflect back into the imagination of those who got shot at my mother's house. And when I see blood or when I see war, those are my PTSDs. Those are the things that trigger me back into that time. And sometimes what happens is that when those areas are hit for PTSD, such as Sam, those are the reflections of his images in the past that don't go away. You know, those images are always there embedded until you're healed or delivered by the grace of God. So going forward, that has a lot to do with mental health, like I said.
Right.
So the movie has everything from domestic violence for homes to realize and to relate. I had so many people hit my DMs and tell me how they related to one way or another. They related to it, whether it be incarceration, whether it be the mental health issues, or whether it be the injustice, or whether it being in home. Right now, the movie is actually streaming with Chicano Hollywood right now.
Okay, very cool.
And so he took it on his platform, so it'll be on for 30 days. It just started last week, and we got some really good reviews and people that are connecting to it because they can relate to it. And that's what it is, because when you grow up, like myself, I grew up with entertainment, watching just white shows. I couldn't relate to them. I couldn't relate to anything of them. And then when we start to watch black shows, I could not relate to. I love the shows, but I couldn't relate to it. But when you see your own culture and you see a movie that you can relate to, it just opens up, and yes, it's different, and you're able to understand and connect to that story. And as I told everybody when I was making the movie, we cannot rely on the white and the blacks to tell our stories.
Right.
We have to tell our own stories.
Thanks.
And we have not only have to tell our own stories for our children and for the next generation, it's because it's history. The true stories that we tell on film, it's history. Yeah. And that's what our kids need, because we've been lied too long and too much. Yeah. And our kids need to know our history. If it means to tell a story and to bring it into a vision and to bring it into film. And that's the problem with Latinos. We don't have that money to make films, but we need to create something to pour into the entertainment industry or our Chicano entertainment so that we can teach our kids the history of our people.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Now, I got one last question for you. The nonprofit, what exactly do you guys do there?
Oh, there's a lot of things we do there. So when I started the nonprofit, I had the underserved, underprivileged people in mind, because a lot of people can't afford legal services, right? I was one that struggled to get a means to fight for my son at the young age of 15. So when I put myself through school, I put myself through paralegal studies. I didn't have enough money to go to law school, right? I started law school several times. I had to pause it. So many things were going on, but the paralegal studies actually put me on the right track. So I was able to get licensed as a independent paralegal, practice for myself. And only thing we can't do is we can't give legal advice, but we can advise through the process, right? So we can help folks prepare their documents and just kind of coach them through the process, right? So that's what I do. And I just seen too many people fall through the cracks and end up getting their kids taken away through CPS or something malicious happened within, whatever system they were going through, the juvenile justice system. You got young kids that are parents, they can't preserve their rights. They don't know they have the right to do that. Then you got parents that are incarcerated that don't know they can preserve their rights as well, right? And so I just felt that there was a need for that. And whatever I went through with my son, there was a purpose for it, right? So instead of me going back down the path that I was on before even having a son, out there on the streets, I decided to turn that into something good. Even though I was still hurting, I had a huge hole in my heart losing my son.
Absolutely.
I wanted to make sure that there was no other parent or anybody out there that was going to struggle going through the judicial system without having the proper help that they needed, right? And the understanding. And my goal is a little unique because you can go anywhere and get legal services, right? You can even go down to the court and get self-help services for free. What I do is I educate my families that come in, because you can do paperwork all day long and go and file them. If they don't have the proper education behind their case or what's going on within their family dynamic, they're going to be back to see you again. It's going to be a revolving door. And I've had clients for the last 26 years come back to me, generation after generation, right? That's because in the beginning of my career, I wasn't really educating people because I wasn't there yet. I wasn't ripening, I wasn't seasoned in my career as I am now. So what I like to do is teach accountability. I want them to understand how they got to the place where they're at in their situation, whether it be a custody case, a criminal case, whatever it might be. I want them to have awareness and accountability that they took part in how they got to where they're at in their life, right? Because if we keep kicking the can and blaming the other parent, the other person, we're never, ever going to break those cycles. So I talk a lot about childhood trauma and how these things take place as you get older and you become an adult, you become a parent. We carry on these traits from the childhood trauma into, our kids, the next generation. Parents are not aware of that. If they hear it from the other parent, they're going to be closed off to it. But if they hear it from a professional, somebody who's a third party that's neutral, that actually has lived out experiences just like them, they're able to connect, like you said, able to make that connection, right? And we're really unique because we meet them right where they're at. We help them from start to finish, fully understand where they're at and how to stay out of the system and not go back and rely on this revolving door.
Yes.
So
now what city is it out of and what's the name of it?
We're in San Jose, California, Santa Clara County. It's called New Beginnings Family Services, but I actually serve the whole state of California and surrounding areas. I do a lot of cases out here in SoCal as well. So I don't shut the door to anybody. I have people from the UK that send me messages or reach out. They need help. I'm not going to say no. If it's something, an area that we don't know, because laws are different, different state, right?
Absolutely.
I'm definitely going to research it and find out what their state and local rules are, so that we can get them help. I'll never close the door to anybody. So
that's great.
And stay tuned. Stay tuned for New Beginnings. Hopefully, LA.
Chapter out here.
We're working on it.
Working on it. You know what I'm saying? Some things, good things are happening, man. You know what I'm saying? And it's like I said, this is what it takes. It takes networking. It takes meeting the right people. You know what I'm saying? And and I know it's hard. I know it's hard to talk to other people and all that, but sometimes we have to step out of our comfort zone to fucking make a difference, people.
Yes, sir,
make a difference, man.
And we're gonna start wrapping it up here. I want to thank every single one of you guys come in. Spider, you put it together, having me on your show, meeting you and seeing what you guys are doing. It's a beautiful thing because, it takes us to make a difference in our community. We could screw it up very easily, but it's much tougher to sit there and do the right thing. So look over there, tell them where they can find you, tell them where they can find the movie, promote.
Yes. So we are streaming right now on Chicano Hollywood. Just linked in to Chicano Hollywood's platform, and the movie Sam's Cry is now available for 30 days, I believe, or even longer. I'm not too sure, but yeah, we started off going, and my name is Angel Ray, ____. There's like 5 underscores, but my name is Angel Ray.
And Jennifer, go ahead and let them know.
I'm Jennifer Salai. I'm from Santa Clara County, and New Beginnings Family Services. You can Google it. You can find us there, newbeginningsfs.net. Also, you can find the book, My Adam, or the documentary on Amazon, and the My Adam page on Facebook. You can check out the documentary. There's 3 series to it.
And I'm going to let you take us out. Spider, come on, homeboy.
Spider from Spider Says Social Club. I started a program called Spider Says Social Club. And it's helping youth, helping youth and adults, through ADHD and substance abuse through fishing. Okay. So if anybody needs help, you guys want to just, learn some fishing, because fishing is therapy. So please look me up on Instagram, direct message me, and we could schedule a little one-on-one or get together as a group, and go out to the pier and do some fishing. And you'd be surprised, how much goodness you can get.
Absolutely, brother. Absolutely. And with that, I appreciate you guys coming on. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to go check out the movie, like, share, and subscribe, and we're out of here.
Hell yeah, bro. Hey.